this morning over at the property that he rents over on the other side of the highway. And as we were out driving in the field going down to see where the cows were at, we noticed that the neighbor's horses were down here close to the fence. So I thought we'd go ahead and turn them around because these horses are super cool. They're really big horses that are used to pull carts and wagons, and they're huge. They're huge. So you can see how big this one is compared to Dad.
Kind of like a Budweiser.
Yeah, Dad said they're kind of like the Budweiser horses. So you can see just how big his hooves are. Hi, Bud. Hey. So horses are, similar to any kind of animal that you feed grain to. Horses do have teeth on the top and on the bottom, so whenever you feed them any food, you need to make sure that you're holding your hand flat so they don't chomp on your fingers. Yeah, okay, Dad. So yeah, these are some of the neighbor's horses, which, like I said, these are huge horses compared to the horses that you typically will find in this area. And now the other ones are going to get excited and want to come up and see if there's anything for them to eat. And Dad, you said that, do they use them to pull carts? Is that what you said?
Pull wagons and stuff.
Pull wagons. So yeah, we'll have to, I'm not exactly sure what kinds they are, but they're awfully pretty and awfully big. Oh, Bud. And here comes another one. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how big they actually are until, here, Daddy, you want to stand next to them? You can see just how big they are compared to Dad. Dad is 6 foot tall. Yeah, you can tell these horses are used to being interacted with. They're used to humans. They come right up. They want some love and attention. They want feed if we have feed. I don't have anything. Sorry, sweetie. And we have horses at our house. They aren't anything like this. They're quarter horses, so they're a lot smaller. They're used to ride around on, though we don't really ride them anymore because they are not nice and friendly like these horses. They run when they see us coming.
You can see how muscular they are in the front.
Yeah.
They can pull stuff.
Yeah, you can see how big their chests are, how muscular they are. But yeah, these are, they look very similar to, as Dad said, the Budweiser horses, or the horses that pull the carts. All right, now that they're all excited to see people, we're going to go ahead and leave, and we're going to load on up. So this is the field that we came to first last week whenever we were checking on the new baby calves that had been born because it looked like they might need a little bit of help with getting some colostrum. We were going to try to check around a little bit to see where all the cows and calves are at. It's really cold today. The wind chill is in the 20s and it's pretty windy out. And so Dad thought they might be hunkered down somewhere.
These are behind the pond, right?
Yeah, see these cows that are up ahead, they're laying down, you can tell. And then they're also down here behind this pond bank. Where this little hill is, that's actually a pond that's fenced in. So cows are pretty smart. They've hunkered down, so they've got something to block the wind.
There's about 15 new calves over here.
Dad said there's about 15 new calves that are over here. And you can see the longhorn cows that are out here. And remember, you can also see some of these calves with the really floppy ears. Those came from Brahma Dad. Here, you want to hold this real quick? Or what are you doing? Are you
Are you getting out?
No, I was going to put some gloves on because my hands are cold. There you go. You can talk. You can't whip it around like that. Are you going to talk at all?
I am. Okay, you got them on?
No, I don't have my phone in. Sorry, Dad's in control of the camera right now. Okay. And if you'll remember the calves that we see, the ones that don't have the tags in their ear, that means that they have not been worked yet by the vet. The calves that do have the tags, they've gotten their vaccinations from the vet, and if they are male.
Tags have been born just this month.
Okay, Dad said the ones that do not have tags have just been born this month. So when we sorted the cows out earlier, we put the cows that were pregnant and had not had their calves yet over here, and we put a couple of pairs that had smaller calves over here at that time that had been worked. So we had a question from somebody who was watching the videos and asked about why we have longhorn cows. Dad, you want to talk a little bit about why we have longhorn cows? Go ahead. Why do we have longhorn cows?
Well, part of the reason I like longhorn cows because they're cool, but another biggest reason is they have calves. They'll bear calves longer than just about any cow, up to 20 some years, and a lot of times they're more hardy. They take the weather a lot better than other breeds. But we breed them to Angus and Hereford bulls because if they're full-blooded longhorns, the calves don't grow very fast, and they don't do very good at the market. And if you breed them to another breed, they'll bring a lot better than a full-blooded longhorn. There's some across the creek which we can't cross. So.
Yeah.
The red bud trees.
Yeah, there's some red bud trees that are blooming right now. You probably see those if you're in town that have the purple buds on it. They're really pretty. We get quite a few out here in Missouri. So we've got a few cows that are over here on the other side of the creek that we don't have a good way to get to right now. And there's some that are over here. Check on those. So the longhorn cows, Dad, we hear stories about people having to go out and check on their cows in the middle of the night, see if they've had calves. Do you have to do that with these longhorn cows, or do they do a pretty good job of?
They do a pretty good job. I don't have much trouble when they birth calves. They're pretty hardy when it comes to that, even as small as their hips are.
Yeah, so cows are all running this way. These are all the cows that we saw laying down over on the other side of the creek bank, and they got kind of disturbed over there when we came through.
I think they probably think we got something to eat.
Yeah, they might think we have something to eat, and they're wanting to get fed. Which, of course, now Dad will feed them because he's that way. Hi, Abby. I'm glad you're watching this morning. Yep, here they come. So when the vet comes out to work the cows and calves, one of the things that he does also is we send the cows through the chute, and he also will give them some stuff to keep the flies away and give them some vaccinations. But one of the not fun fun things about having longhorn cows is that the ones that have the really big, cool horns that are really wide don't get through the chute very well. The chute is like a long, narrow hallway that's probably only about, maybe 2 feet wide. And so their horns can get stuck on some of the bars as they go along. So one of the things that we've done with our alleyway and chute at home is we've lined it with plywood. So yeah, and so that way they can scooch along without getting their horns caught in any bars. The cows that are smart and are a little bit older do a really good job. They know kind of their limitations, and they'll actually turn their heads so that way their horns don't get caught on things. But some cows just aren't too terribly smart, and they get caught, and then it takes time for us to get them loose and try to help them get out, which that's not always fun because they're yanking and pulling and have these big old horns that can poke you. So while longhorns are good moms and they're really cool to look at, they're a pretty big pain to work whenever the vet comes out. So here we're down at the bottom of a field. You can see there's a lot more cows that are down in here. Like I said, they're pretty smart. They've taken themselves out of the wind. So they're kind of hunkered down here. Oh, yeah, Dad just said there's a new one over here. So this black cow over here has a little black calf behind it, and that's one of the new ones. And yes, Elise, all of the cows that are out here, or all of the cows that are in this field that have horns, these are all female cows. So all of the female longhorn cows can grow horns just like you would see with a bull normally. And in fact, these calves would also grow horns if we'd let them, but one of the things that the vet does is he dehorns them whenever he comes out. And you can see that their horns are all kinds of different shapes and sizes. Like this is a longhorn right here, and her horns are really wide. Sometimes they kind of curl up, sometimes they kind of hook out. They just come in all different designs. And there are some other kind of cows that can also have horns. Dad, what breed is that black one over there that has little short horns?
The little short one with the calf?
Yeah.
Coriani.
So that black cow that we saw with the new calf, she's a Coriani, so the one that's straight across, she has little bitty horns. So they don't get quite as big, but that's just their breed.
There are calves like that they use in rodeos. They call them ropers. The little calves that they rope.
Oh, okay, the Corianis?
Yes.
So Dad said that in rodeos, whenever you see the little calves that the cowboys are roping at rodeos, those are Coriani calves.
That's Angus bull there.
Yep, there's a bull right in front of us, a black Angus bull. So you can see how muscular he is. If we were to have longhorn bulls, they would not be that muscular. They'd be more thin like the longhorn cows. But when you have the nice longhorn cows that are good moms and are pretty hardy and pretty smart, and you pair them with the big Angus bulls or the big Hereford bulls that are nice and muscular, then you get calves, kind of like this guy right here, that are pretty good size. And then we'll get bigger, and then we're able to sell them for more money at the market. Oh, okay. Nope, yep, see there's that new baby.
That calf was born the 14th, I guess.
So this calf right here, Dad looked back at his notebook, and this little guy right here was born on the 14th. I don't even know what day it is today.
17th.
It's the 17th? He's a couple days old. What'd you say this was?
A red Angus.
Here's a red Angus bull right here. So it's the same kind of breed in Angus, but he's red instead of black. So again, you can see he's shorter and really muscular. Now these cows that were across the creek are going to come up and see what's going on. things that may happen this weekend, we're not completely sure, is on Sunday we might be having somebody come out and pick up some of the calves that we've been weaning out in the lot. Those are the calves that you watched us feed grain to, and the calves that we fed the hay to the other day in the feed lot. And so the market for calves has been getting a little bit better. The prices have increased a little bit, and so it looks like now might be a good time to sell those calves, or sell some of them. So we'll have maybe somebody coming out this weekend to get those calves picked up. And we have some trailers, some cattle trailers that are on the smaller size, but when they're smaller it takes more time and more loads. So we hire a gentleman that lives in our community to come out with his great big trailer and his big semi-truck. Yeah, his semi-truck to pull the great big trailer, and he'll pick up the calves for us and then drive them for us to the market, to the sale barn, where they'll be sold. And after those calves get sold, they'll then go to one of the feeder lots. So they'll stay there for, how much longer will they probably stay in a feed lot?
Which ones? The ones that are sold?
The ones that are sold from us.
Well, they'll probably be there for another, 6 to 8 months, maybe longer.
So after we've been weaning them and fattening them up on our farm, then they go to the sale barn and get sold to somebody else who will buy them, and then they'll keep them for another 6 to 8 months and continue to feed them more and get them more fat, so that way they'll be heavier. So Dad, you want to talk a little bit about what happens, how they're sold in a sale barn, like how they sell them as far as price goes?
Well, they bring the calves into the sale barn. It's an arena, and there's an auctioneer, and they sell them by the pound, and they watch people bid. Some people bid with their hands. Most of them will nod, raise a finger. They'll have ring men down on the floor, and they're watching the bidders too. If the auctioneer doesn't see them, and up on the board, it has the price per pound and how much the calf weighs, so they'll know how much it is. And usually at the end it shows you how much the calf brought. The steers will bring more than the heifers, and the better the calf, the more per pound they'll bring. But that's usually always what they sell by the pound.
So to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like, so it's basically a big circle where the cows come in, and around the circle, around the outside, is where all of the audience will sit. There's usually some bleachers so they can sit up and see everybody. And then above that circle is the auctioneer, and he talks really, really fast. He makes a lot of extra noise in between the numbers that he calls out, and the number that he calls out is how much per pound they're going to sell, or they're bidding on for the calf. So you might hear like, hey, about 10, 11, and it sounds really, really funny. Meanwhile, while the auctioneer is making all that noise kind of in between, you have other guys that are down like where the calves are at, that are the callers, and they're watching the crowd. They're watching the people who are wanting to bid on these calves. And when they see somebody in the crowd, in the audience, that nods their head, or when they see them like kind of lift their hand up, they'll go, hey, hey, and that's to tell the auctioneer that somebody has bid on that price, and that they can then say a bigger number, because they want to try to get the number up as high as they can to get more money.
The seller will make more money, and he'll keep wanting to come back to that sale barn. Plus, the more they can sell, the sale barn gets a certain percentage of what that brings. So he wants to sell as high as he can too. And if they spot something that's wrong with the calf, getting one with a bad foot or a bad eye, they'll call it, and it won't bring as good. And if like selling cows, they'll sell them by the age. A lot of times they go up to 7 or 8 years old, and then after that, they're called short and solid. And a short and solid means that their teeth they're usually sound, but their teeth are wore down. They're short, and they still have solid mouth. And the broken mouth cows, they'll call them BMs, they will sell for less because it's an older cow. It means they're broken mouth cow. Sometimes it's just one tooth gone. Other times they've got teeth gone. And then some sale barns, they call them SMs, or smooth mouth, where they don't have any teeth. And they're a lot older, do as good. Sometimes you'll have a broken mouth cow that might not be as old as you think, because it's been around maybe rocky ground where it's got its teeth broken off, and still could be in real good shape. But I sell my calves usually up at Kingsmill Livestock, and they do a really good job of selling and preparing. So I'm putting a good word in for Kingsmill Livestock Barn.
Okay, so there used to be a livestock auction barn in Warrensburg a long time ago, like when I was growing up, because I remember going to it when I was a kid. And it was actually over where Lowe's is located now, but then that went away, gosh, probably, what, 20 years ago, I'd say? It's been a long time ago. So now Dad sells his calves over at the Kingsmill Livestock Auction that does a good job out there. So Dad, where do you buy your cows from?
Well, usually from Kingsmill. I buy some, and then the auctioneer, one of the owners, he tell him what I want, and he buys them for me, what I want.
So what kind of cows do you normally buy?
Well, right now I'm kind of switching to more or less what we call beef cows. They're different colors, or they're black Angus cows.
So why are you looking for those kinds of cows?
Well, because the calves will make me a little bit more money, and I'm retired now, so I've got more time to take care of them. The Longhorns kind of took care of themselves most of the time.
So for those of you that didn't know this or didn't know Dad before, Dad used to work more than full-time at a rock quarry as a quarry superintendent. So he would leave usually around, what, 5:30 in the morning? And then he would get back from work late, usually around, what, 6 or later? So he was working at least 12-hour days during the week, and then would come home and check the cows and calves at night, and then use the weekends to do as much as he could. So he needed to have those Longhorn cows that were more hardy and could do a good job of taking care of themselves because he was working full-time. Oh, there's a heron crane over there flying. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see it through there. And now that he's retired, he's home more, so that way he can get some of these other cows that will bring him more money but may take a little bit more watching and care. And Mom just mentioned in the comments that they go to the Longhorn sale down at Mocan Livestock 2 times a year.
You have been here for a while.
So.
Whatever.
Okay. So at the end of the day, cows and calves are really cute and really fun to have around, and they're neat to watch and look at, but it is a business. You know, it's a lot of work to keep them up. It's a lot of work to give them the things that they need, and, you know, that's done so that way it can make money because it is part of a business.
Also, let's talk about the sale barn. Right now, with the virus going on around, they're doing the sale barns different. They try not to get very many people in there, and they separate them, and they're doing a lot of online betting. But they're trying to play everything safe too. I don't know what all of them are doing, but I know there's a lot of online betting. So it's a little bit different, and over the past just few years they've done a lot of this online betting. It makes it a lot handier for some people.
Alright, so we have now crossed over into the other field. There doesn't look like there's anything over here. We'll cross over to the other side of the road, but we'll go ahead and wrap this video up before we go over there. And since we don't really have any livestock auctions to go to right now that I could even take a video for you to kind of see, I'll see if I can find something online just so you can even hear what it sounds like at an auction. They're pretty fun to go to and pretty fun to listen to. So I'm gonna turn you around if I can. And you guys have a great weekend. We might do a bonus Fun on the Farm episode, maybe Sunday afternoon, if we end up having the trailers come in to take the calves to the market. If that ends up happening, we're still not sure. So that way you can see the big semi truck with the trailer on the back of it. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time.